Hey Internet, I am stuck in bed with vertigo, propped up with a comfy pillow, and I can't really do much else, so I thought I'd make a video about something I've been mulling over related to D&D lately. So in the last game I DM'd, my players got a tip that there was a person at a nearby tavern that had some information that they needed to continue their campaign. They went to the tavern, they had some food and drink, sat and wait for this person to arrive. While this was happening, a sketchy merchant came by and offered our druid a magic staff. Now, while the merchant and the druid were haggling over the price of the staff, our barbarian was rifling through her bag of other magic items. While doing so, he found a vial of goo, and he immediately tasted the goo. I wasn't expecting that, it was hilarious, but I didn't have any immediate plans as a DM for what that goo would do to him, so I just gave him sort of an ominous, the goo has no effect, yet. So the barbarian finished rifling through the bag, the druid bought the staff, and they continued to wait for the person eating and drinking. Now, our party sorcerer has a magic item, it's a wand, which points in the direction of enemies. It lets the party know when enemies are nearby. The sorcerer had their wand on the table. My idea was that the wand would point towards one of the players randomly, and then start pointing to other players, twitching around and finally spinning around as it indicated that the tavern was surrounded by militia that was hunting down our party. That was what I intended to happen. The wand twitched on the table, spun around, and pointed to the barbarian. Somebody in the party said, "Oh, the goo!" Now, I had a choice here. I could have said, "No, wasn't the goo." The wand points to other people in the party, starts spinning around on the table as planned. Militia surrounds the tavern, combat ensues, and it probably would have been a pretty fun combat. But instead, in true improv fashion, I went with that prompt. I said, yes, the barbarian, something has happened to the barbarian, and they are now transforming into this big, hulking, zombie-like creature. Their stats changed, and they start attacking the party and everybody else in the tavern. The infected barbarian starts projectile vomiting onto other people in the tavern, turning them into big, hulking, zombie-like creatures as well. A brawl breaks out, tavern folk get in the battle, some nearby guards come rushing into the door. There's an opportunity for players to learn a little bit more about the goo and what it is, who it has infected in the past, the cure. And that was a way more interesting piece of combat and piece of storytelling than anything I would have executed had I just went ahead with what I had planned. For me anyways, I think that's a pretty good example of why we shouldn't punish players for experimenting and trying things, even if it goes against the grain of what we're trying to do. But even if I had intended for that goo to be poisonous, instantly killing a player if they consumed it, I need to be prepared for those consequences, and those consequences aren't particularly fun. So I think this was a really good reminder for me to encourage the players to eat the goo. Go for it. Taste the goo. Try something different. Try something dangerous and new. As long as you're not getting in the way of other people at the table having fun, I think that is only going to contribute to the crazy, chaotic fun of D&D. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to take a nap now, but I hope we can all, as DMs, continue to let our players taste the goo.